Hi, welcome back to Spirits of Fashion. My name is Ren, and I'm going to continue the talk about some cosmetics cases from the past. Last week, my dog's Kevin is here, so sorry if you hear some rattling of his collar. He's waiting to have dinner, and it's too early, so I'm trying to persuade him not to. Anyway, hello again, and I'm going to focus on the 50s and 60s today, mostly the 50s sort of blending into the early 60s. As I'd mentioned last time, we do have quite a collection here in my house. I've been collecting for quite a while, and I have some beautiful pieces, not just compacts, but a few smoking accessories as well, which is very fun. So I'm going to start with the first one I'm looking at here, which is a 1950s compact with a wind-up clock on it, which is very amazing. I've never seen one of these before I picked this one up. And then I later read that in the 1950s, this giant compact style was very popular. So I'll open that up for you. I haven't tried to wind the watch to see if it works, but it does have a mirror, as always. And it does, let's see if I can get it. Okay, never been used. So you can see that is the sifter so that not too much loose powder will come out. And then you just take your nice clean powder puff and go ahead and have a good time putting powder on. So that was a very typical 1950s shape, but again, I had never seen the one with the clock on it before. It's very cool. The next one is a good example of the 1950s too, which is a mother of pearl top to what I've called the carry-all, a nécessaire, minaudière, something that you could just use instead of a bag in the 1950s. And if you look at this, you think, gee, that would fit my cell phone perfectly. Well, they didn't have cell phones, so this would have been all they needed for an evening on the town. And sometimes you get lucky and you find one that was given to a lady by a boyfriend, a husband, and this one is inscribed, Judy, love Chuck. Hopefully you can see that in the light. Looks like it's not being seen too well. I hope you can see that. But how cool when it's definitely a personalized piece. Often men back then would give their girlfriends or wives compacts or makeup type items or perfumes for a special occasion, or maybe if they were overseas and they wanted to send something to make sure the woman remembered them, they would do that. This is also a never used compact. Sorry, Chuck, I don't think Judy ever used it. It does say genuine mother of pearl. Marhill is the brand name. And inside you see a beautiful mirror and you see the lipstick that you can take out. Here's the lipstick container right here. We talked about how they could refill lipsticks in the past. And so this would have been one of those. And it again is not a push-up. Am I wrong about that? No, it doesn't look like it is. When I was putting away a second ago that little piece of paper, Fortune, I hope it wasn't bad advice about Chuck. Don't know if she was emotionally and common sense wise that took that away. I don't know. We won't know, but God bless them both. And then this is a common thing to find in the 50s compacts as well. It could be a little change purse, but then in addition to that, on the back, there is a little comb tucked in right there. So all of these great little things that you needed on a night on the town, right with you, right here. And the last thing is, now here there is Kleenex. So I guess this person did use it, or someone used it just to carry things and not to use the cosmetics. But this is actually tissue. It does look like it has been used to blot lipstick a little bit, which is very cool. Again, it has that history to it. And this would have been possibly cigarettes in here too. So it could contain that. And I'm going to leave the tissues in there because it's just cool. I like to see, keep it the way I found it. It's just the most way to keep the integrity of the piece and the story of the piece too. So there's that one. And this next one is from the 50s. And unfortunately, it's broken, its top strap, or it fell off recently. And also the mirror was broken when I got it, unfortunately, and got worse over time. So I'd like to eventually get that replaced because this is a really special piece. It's got all little figures on it. And I've looked this up online. I've seen the same one from the 1950s. Both sides have that. It has its little lipstick container. Let's see if it's going to come out. Sometimes, like I said last time, they get stuck. But I can't pull it out right now, but it has that push up, that little lever, instead of being a twist on, twist off. And you open it up, and one side is for cigarettes. It even shows you that by the little pieces of the little piece of paper with what looks like would be cigarettes placed inside there. And then on the other side is all of the makeup, never used. There's my poor mirror. It's heartbreaking, really. And then inside here, trying to make this easier for you to see. I get carried away with opening it and I forget that you can't see it. Powder puff, never used. And inside a little piece, a little circle of rouge with writing still on it. It looks like it's in German. And a little container, probably for some kind of a cream, very small little round container. And last but not least would be the wonderful little compact with its sifter and its powder puff that says styled by Bishop. Bishop was a company that used to make these carry-alls and cosmetics cases. So I get very excited by these things. I know I'm not the only one. I know some of you probably feel the same way, and I love collecting them, and it's just so cool to think about who might have owned it. This was for perfume. First, when I saw it, I said, oh, that's kind of a weird shape for a lipstick container, but this would have been for perfume. I don't smell anything, so nothing was put in there as far as I know. Usually there's some remnants of scent. So that's a little perfume container. Very, very cool in my opinion. Okay, and next I'm going to talk about one other type that I'm going to show you today, and that's a tapestry cover. This was another popular thing in the 50s. This is covered with a really pretty floral tapestry, and you open it up, and of course you're going to see very similar things as you've seen in the other ones this size. Compartment behind the mirror, of course your lipstick, your little case here, which does not have a comb tucked in the back, as some do. And then you've got your little powder puff. I'm not going to pull it out because it's loaded with pressed powder, not pressed powder, I'm sorry, loose powder underneath. And so I'm going to leave that as is. So this had been enjoyed, used and enjoyed. Love to know more stories about it. But what I did find at the same time, I got this at Nostalgia at the store we had for 5 years in Providence, which is now run by my friend Jim. One of the vendors had this, and she also had lipstick. It looks like it would be matching completely right here. Little lipstick container with some mother of pearl on the sides that aren't covered with tapestry. You open it up, and it's a twist. No lipstick is in there, but you could put those little lipstick refills inside if you were so inclined. So I just love these collections. I have many more, but I'm going to limit today just to keep it from being too long. The last thing I'm going to show you, oh, I'm sorry, one more thing of compacts. Volupte. You may have heard of this brand, very big in terms of the beauty industry and cosmetic cases. There's one that is a hand, and it has lace on it, like it's gold, but it has looks like a lace glove. Can't think of the name of it. I did know the name of it, and it escapes me right now. Very, very highly collectible, and I've seen one or two in my travels, but they were out of my price range, so I didn't buy them. They're very collectible and rare these days. But this is a Volupte, still in its case and still very beautiful. This is a gold one with the same strap that would have been on the one I showed you, the square one. And I said the strap had come off. So this is a beautiful piece, still in its case, all gold, like a basket weave on both sides. And you open it up. One side, there's your cigarette holder right there, or whatever you want to put in there, your tissues, hanky, something like that, if you don't smoke. And then the familiar look of the powder case, lipstick, and the little change purse with its comb on the back yet again. So this one I don't think has been used. Let me just double check. Let's see. Never used. Never used. So still in its box. Boy, I'll tell you, everything mattered back then. I say that all the time when I'm doing my presentations. You know, everything, all the details mattered. It wasn't just about throwing something, a bunch of things in a big bag and walking around. What they carried was actually part of their aesthetic as well, and part of their own style, and that was important to them. So finally, I have some smoking accessories. One of them is a beautiful, looks like a snakeskin cigarette case. Now keep in mind, cigarette cases were small like this because cigarettes were unfiltered. So they were only about this big, you know, and you didn't need those. They came out with the longer cigarettes with the filters later on. But this one still has the original tag on it, and it's Evans. Evans is another very popular company from this time period, and it says fair traded. So it still has that, but the cool thing is when you pop it, get ready for this. Ah, there comes a cigarette. The packet just pulls right up. These were Chesterfields, unfiltered. I'll do that again because it's really cool if you missed it. 1, 2, 3, watch. There it goes. It lifts up. I got such a kick out of that. Yes, I'm a geek when it comes to this kind of thing. I can't help it. I hope that you are enjoying it too. It's a lot of fun. I found these in all different places, all different antique malls, vintage stores, sometimes a thrift store if I was lucky. So you never know. You're going to find them in different spots. Some will be more expensive than others. But if you collect them, it's a real treasure hunt to find one in the wild. Two last pieces for you are these two match, but they weren't found together. But it's the same design on the top. Okay, so a little cigarette case. This one has someone's initials on it, which is very tough to make out. So I can't really tell, but there's definitely a monogram there. So probably given by a loved one, husband or boyfriend. And inside, it's getting stuck today with all these things here. When I finally got it open, it looks like it had a little powder in it. It's kind of tough to tell because it's not in great shape in terms of, the mirror. It's intact. It just has some spotting and some dust on it. And so there might have been a little powder in there at one time. I suspect that there was. And then the other side, if I can do it, is just probably for the cigarette. So again, you had the small compact on one side and then your cigarette case on this side. And then there's a place for the lipstick. There's no lipstick holder in this particular one. Now, this is something you like carrying. Obviously, cigarettes unfiltered on is plentiful, I don't believe, as they were, but I think you can still get them. But you could put a lipstick and just use this as a compact with powder because it's just so cool. And everyone's going to wonder where you got it. Put your lipstick right in there. Be like, wow, that's very cool. And the last thing is something that I don't know if you'll guess what this is. I always ask my audiences when I see them in person, but same cigarette with the smoke coming out of it. Okay. Be guessing. Make a note in the comments if you would, if you guessed the right thing, if you had no idea what it was, if you think it's cool, whatever. Has a little handle. So I want you to picture a woman, she has a drink but she puts her drink down and, she wants to smoke for a little bit, so she's smoking and then, hey, I'm thirsty again. What am I going to do? I've only got 2 hands. I can't have my drink and my cigarette and this thing. So pop that baby up. There's where the cigarette would go, right there. The ashes go in here, and she can put her cigarette here and pick up her drink and drink a little bit more and repeat. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing these pieces from my collection. I still get so much joy out of them every time I look at them, and my audiences do too. So please let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any experiences or if you have a collection with some of these pieces, please share with us. We'd love to know. And I hope you enjoyed it again. And I may continue this for a while more. I've got so many other pieces, or I may switch it up and come back to this at another time. So please, please have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will have a video coming out. I don't suspect that everybody will see it. It might be a little late because of the holiday and we're going to have company, but I will do my best to get out a video for you next week. And remember that if you go to SpiritsOfFashion.com, which is my website, you can sign up for the free newsletter that I have every month. You can also contact me if you do want an event or a presentation in your venue, or you know someone who does. And I hope that you have a great week and a great holiday, and I will see you all as soon as possible. Remember, style never dies. Bye.